Okay, picture this. A massive football match, a real clash of titans, but it's happening somewhere you wouldn't necessarily expect for, a global soccer showdown like this.
Right.
We're talking about a game with just more twists, more turns than any TV drama you could possibly imagine. And this wasn't just some friendly kickabout. This was the FIFA Club World Cup, Group D, lighting up Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Happened just a couple of days back, June 20th.
A really significant match, yeah.
So today, we're doing a proper deep dive into what turned out to be an absolutely stunning 3-1 win for Flamengo. The Brazilian Giants pulling off this incredible second-half comeback against, Premier League powerhouse Chelsea.
It really was something else.
And our mission here really is to unpack all of that. The resilience, the tactics, frankly, the sheer chaos of it all that just reminds you why you love football, doesn't it? We want you to understand not just what happened, but why it was such a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you look closely, this match, it wasn't just a win, was it? It felt like a statement. From that electric atmosphere, you could almost feel the buzz, to the tactical chess game on the pitch. It just revealed so much about how unpredictable football can be.
It really did. And it all kicked off on this perfect stage. Lincoln Financial Field in Philly. Imagine 54,000 fans jammed in there. City of brotherly love, but maybe not so much brotherly love towards Chelsea for those 90 minutes. The energy was just palpable.
Definitely. And Chelsea, they turn up as the 2021 Club World Cup champs. They had this air of confidence about them, just beaten LAFC 2-0 quite comfortably in their first game. They've got stars like Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez holding things down in midfield. They looked, pretty much invincible, didn't they? You got the feeling they thought Group D was just going to be a Sunday stroll in the park for them.
Right, just breeze through it. But then you had Flamengo, coached by Felipe Luis, their former player. Remember him at Chelsea?
Of course, yeah. Adds another layer, doesn't it?
Exactly. And they came in fired up, too. They weren't messing about. They'd already handled Esperance de Tunis 2-0 with goals from Luis Araujo and de Arrascaeta. But they're fans. Wow. That's where things got really interesting.
Oh, absolutely. You have to talk about the fans. Those Flamengo supporters, all in red and black, they didn't just show up. They completely took over Lincoln Financial Field. It stopped feeling like Pennsylvania, and suddenly it felt like a little corner of Brazil right there.
Yeah.
Flares, the chanting, nonstop. The energy was incredible. Honestly, you could argue the Americana itself might have been a bit jealous of the atmosphere they created. That belief, that passion, it really sets the stage for something special.
So, kickoff time. Both teams level on 3 points at the top of Group D.
Yeah.
Huge stakes, right? Bragging rights, momentum, getting that early spot in the knockouts. What Chelsea probably didn't bank on, though, was getting a master class in Brazilian flair. And maybe a little lesson in humility, too.
They were about to find out.
And Flamengo came out of the gate absolutely flying, like they'd had way too much coffee beforehand. High press straight away, forcing Chelsea into mistakes they just don't normally make. Luis Araujo to Arrascaeta, Ayrton Lucas, all testing Robert Sanchez in the Chelsea goal early on. They were really knocking.
Their fast start was key, wasn't it? Showed their intent. But, it also highlights that old football saying, missed chances, they bite you back. And quickly.
So true.
Despite being all over Chelsea, they couldn't get that early goal. And against a team like Chelsea, that can start to play on your mind a bit.
And almost inevitably, just as you're thinking Flamengo need to score, Chelsea hit them. 13th minute, bit of a scramble, ball deflects off a Flamengo defender, I think.
Yeah, bit fortunate maybe.
And Pedro Neto, he was just onto it like lightning. So sharp. Kept his cool, slotted it past Agustin Rossi, 1-0 Chelsea. And the Chelsea fans went wild. You could almost hear them thinking, okay, job done next.
Yeah. That goal definitely shifted things in the first half. It was a real momentum swing. Chelsea survived that early storm, and then they just sort of settled down, looked much more comfortable, started controlling the game. We saw Malo Gusto, Liam Delap having shots saved by Rossi. Enzo Fernandez almost won a penalty too. Big shout, but the ref waved it away.
And VAR, nowhere to be seen on that one, it felt like.
Yeah, VAR was not exactly helpful in that moment, was it? Bit confusing. You wonder if they were having a tea break.
Maybe. But Flamengo, even after going down, they didn't just roll over. Just before halftime, Gerson hits this absolute rocket of a volley. Pure power.
Incredible strike.
And Enzo Fernandez somehow gets back to clear it off the line. Saved Chelsea right there, just before the break. So halftime arrives. Chelsea are 1-0 up, technically in control. But you could still hear those Flamengo fans singing, chanting, like they knew something.
That singing, it wasn't just noise, was it? It was almost defiant. Like they refused to believe they were beaten. It really set the psychological tone for what came next.
Yeah.
It shows how much that kind of support can maybe subconsciously affect both teams.
Yeah, definitely. Because if the first half was like a tense buildup, a bit cagey, the second half, forget about it.
Yeah.
Total fireworks display, an absolute samba explosion right there in Philly. Flamengo came out looking like a completely different team.
They really did. Full of energy, real belief. Chelsea, on the other hand, they looked a bit lost, almost like they'd spent halftime arguing over tactics or something and just weren't switched on. Hesitant, passes going astray. Just not the Chelsea we expected.
And this is where Felipe Luis earns his money, right? The coaching masterstroke.
Absolutely. His read of the game was spot on. 56th minute, he brings on Bruno Henrique. And this wasn't just swapping one player for another. It felt like a very specific, targeted move to exploit something he'd seen. And bringing Henrique on turned out to be the game changer. It really shows that coaching isn't just the starting plan. It's about adapting, seeing weaknesses emerge, and knowing exactly who to bring on to make a difference. Henrique was like a secret weapon unleashed.
And what a weapon. Only 6 minutes after coming on, he makes the impact. Gerson plays this beautiful little chipped pass, perfectly weighted to Gonzalo Plata at the back post.
Lovely ball.
Plata nods it back across intelligently.
Yeah.
And who's there? Bruno Henrique just ghosts in, completely unmarked it seemed, taps it home. 1-1 62nd minute. The Flamengo end just went absolutely ballistic. You could feel the stadium shake. Pure joy.
And Chelsea didn't even have time to process it. Because 3 minutes later, 65th minute, Flamengo strike again, corner kick comes in, causes absolute chaos in the Chelsea box.
Pandemonium.
Henrique, again, right in the middle of it, gets his head to it, nods it back into the danger zone. And Danilo, remember him from City? He just smashes it, volleys it past Sanchez. Unbelievable turnaround. 2-1 Flamengo, just like that. The noise was deafening. It just shows how set pieces combined with that relentless pressure can just completely unravel a defense that's already looking shaky.
Now, normally you'd think, okay, Chelsea regroup, they've got the quality, they find a way back, but nope. Things went from bad to worse for them almost immediately.
Right. Disaster strikes.
3 minutes after that second goal, Nicolas Jackson, who'd only been on the pitch for about 4 minutes, mind you, lunges in. Studs up challenge on Ayrton Lucas.
Oof, yeah.
Nasty one. And the referee, no hesitation, straight red card. Jackson's off. On his birthday, apparently. Talk about bad timing. He must have wished he'd just stayed home.
That red card, beyond just being down to 10 men, it's such a lesson, isn't it? In these huge games, keeping your cool individual discipline. It can be everything. One moment of madness can just wreck your whole team's plan. Chelsea were already reeling from the 2 quick goals, and now, down to 10, they look like a Jenga tower in an earthquake, just wobbling all over the place. And Flamengo, they could smell blood.
And they went for the kill. Sealed the deal in the 83rd minute. Wallace Jan, 20-year-old kid, comes off the bench. Platt has another shot, takes a bit of a deflection, falls perfectly for Jan, and he just hammers it past Sanchez. 3-1. Game absolutely over. Flamengo fans are dancing, singing, going crazy. Chelsea fans just staring, couldn't believe what they'd seen.
Yeah, the final nail in the coffin. Just an incredible turnaround.
So final whistle goes. Flamengo top of Group D, perfect 6 points, knockout spot booked.
Yeah.
Chelsea, stuck on 3 points, now facing a massive pressure game against Esperance just to stay in it. How quickly things changed.
And Bruno Henrique, rightly named man of the match, had to be him, didn't it?
No question.
Comes on, completely changes the game. Goal, assist, but it was his overall energy, his movement.
Yeah.
Just brilliant. And afterwards, he gave huge credit to the fans, didn't he? Said the 54,000 made it feel like the Americana's loud cousin or something.
Love that.
It just shows how that crowd support can genuinely lift a team, give him that extra bit.
And for Chelsea, well, a day to forget fast. Enzo Maresca, the manager, he looked pretty stunned on the sidelines, just scratching his head.
Yeah, I did.
And people were questioning his tactics, especially playing Cole Palmer out wide. Looked a bit lost out there, didn't he? Not his usual influential self.
Didn't seem comfortable, no. Maresca's post-match comments were very brief. Basically just said, it was a red card, nothing to say, congrats to them, they deserved it. You could tell he was hurting.
Yeah. And Nicolas Jackson, he put out an apology on Instagram later. Just a football moment that went wrong, I'll reflect, I'll grow. You know, the usual stuff.
Though the fan reaction online was pretty sharp, wasn't it? Someone joked he'd need a mirror if he was reflecting that much.
Ouch.
But it's another reminder, isn't it? In this modern age, one bad moment on the pitch, especially a red card like that, it gets magnified hugely. Big reputational cost, never mind the tactical one for the team.
Absolutely. But let's zoom out a bit here, because this result, it feels bigger than just Flamengo beating Chelsea, right?
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a statement for South American football.
Definitely. It's only the second time ever, apparently, that a South American team has beaten a European giant by more than one goal in a FIFA club competition like this. The other one was Vasco da Gama beating Man United way back in 2000.
Wow, that long ago.
Yeah, and South American teams were actually unbeaten in 9 games at this tournament up to that point. It's like they're saying, hey, Europe, you don't own this game anymore. It hints at maybe a bit of a power shift or at least a leveling out.
And you have to give massive credit to Felipe Luisken, the tactical side of it, knowing Chelsea, having played there, using that insight.
Oh, for sure. His halftime tweaks, bringing on Henrique when he did, he just completely outthought Maresca. It was like he looked at his old team and just knew exactly where to press, exactly how to hurt them. It was a proper coaching masterclass, turning the game on its head like that. More than just passion, it was smarts too.
Which leaves Chelsea with some big questions, doesn't it? That squad, full of expensive talent, looked really disjointed when the pressure came on. Jackson's red card didn't help, obviously, but the problems seemed deeper than that in the second half. Maresca's got work to do, fast. The Premier League season isn't far off. The fans won't be patient for long if things don't click. It just shows money doesn't automatically buy you, team spirit or resilience.
And maybe that's the beauty of this whole Club World Cup, isn't it? It's more than just a tournament. It's this, global football party. You see the fans in Philly, the fans in Orlando, wherever the games are, the flags, the flares, the passion.
Yeah.
Flamingo's fans really brought that home. Football isn't just about tactics and money, is it? It's about that passion, that community feel, that shared experience, even the odd dance-off in the stands.
Absolutely. And this game was just the perfect example of football's glorious unpredictability. Chelsea, the financial giants, the big favorites.
On paper, yeah.
But football just doesn't care about your balance sheet, does it? Flamengo showed up with heart, with fight, with that bit of Brazilian magic, and they proved underdogs can still land a massive punch.
A knockout punch in this case.
So when we boil it all down, this Flamengo 3-1 win, it wasn't just a result. It was pure drama, a proper spectacle, and just a huge reminder that this game we love can still completely blow you away. Goals, red cards, that unbelievable fan energy, it had everything.
Yeah, the key things to take away, I think. Number one, never, ever write off a Brazilian team with fire in their belly. Number two, maybe substitutes need a cooling off period before getting stuck in.
Okay, boy.
And number three, definitely bring earplugs if you're going to a Flamengo game. Seriously.
Sound advice.
Yeah.
So looking ahead, Flamengo must be absolutely buzzing. Through to the knockouts, just taking down Chelsea. They'll fancy their chances against LAFC next, surely. Could they go all the way?
Based on that performance, why not? They'll be full of confidence. Chelsea, though, big test now against Esperance. They need a reaction. They need to sort out their defense. And Maresca probably needs to ditch that Palmer out wide experiment, unless he really is trying to invent the frustrated winger position.
Huh.
We'll see. But it leaves us with a bigger thought, doesn't it? Something for you, the listener, to chew on. What does a match like this really tell us about where global football is heading? When passion and tactics and, a bit of chaos can overcome sheer financial might. Is the beautiful game getting its unpredictable soul back? Or was this just one incredible wild day in Philadelphia?
A fascinating question to ponder.
Definitely. Right. Well, after watching that, I think I need to go practice my samba, just in case Flamengo need another supporter down in Orlando for the next round. What an absolutely brilliant deep dive that was.